This week's show, Peloton will sell the Bike Plus in Costco and has teamed up with Netflix for a Stranger Things Lanebreak level.
Plus, special classes before the New York City Marathon, new classes from Ross Rayburn, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 199 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I am Amanda Siegel, and I am joined today by not one, but two of my co-hosts, John Pruitt and the birthday boy, Chris Lewis.
Happy birthday.
Happy
How are y'all
birthday, boss man.
Thanks. It's been a good week.
Did you have a good week? You had a good birthday celebration? And
I did. Caught a couple Peloton classes. It was good that, my birthday was on Thursday and not Wednesday.
Not
it was
on Wednesday,
cutting it close this year, but yeah, I got a good couple classes in, and it's been a good week. How about y'all?
Rack up a couple B-Day shout-outs, Chris?
Got one or two shout-outs, and then got a couple high fives with that new feature, and I don't know if you've seen it recently, but when they originally did it, it just kind of popped up like normal, but now there's like a whole big animation, and it comes across
so it really gets your attention.
It really comes across
cool.
with a very different UI.
Were you able to capture that?
Not a video, but I do have a screenshot of like the bigger part showing up, so I'll post a picture of that at some point.
That is really cool. That is really cool. I guess when I just got the regular.
You're still in your 30s, aren't you, Chris?
Unfortunately,
Don't
not.
talk age.
Oh, damn. Sorry. It's all downhill from here.
Everyone's
that's what I hear.
Catching up. You're all catching up. It's all good. It's all good. And you, we'll get to it in birthdays, Chris. But yeah, you celebrate it's a special birthday because you celebrate with a special dude.
I think someone celebrates it with me, but whichever way you want to look at it.
That's
yes. Babyface Matt.
Somebody celebrates with you. Yeah, it was a good week. And I had a Pelo buddy join me from Atlanta down for the week. My friend Cheryl came down. It's so amazing. I mean, who would have thought, that you create these friendships with people that, you just meet from an exercise equipment, and they really, just have turned into like phenomenal friends. So yeah, she came and spent a couple of days with me in gorgeous DC this week. The weather was just stunning, absolutely stunning.
Is the pool still open down there?
The pool is still open.
Oh.
Don't laugh. We sat at the pool on Wednesday. It was so beautiful. We walked 6 miles on Wednesday morning. It was so fun to have a walking buddy. We put, classes in our ears and chatted for 6 miles. And and then we came back and kind of sat by the pool. It was gorgeous. But of course, all the leaves, have changed and falling. And she was saying that it was nice to get to experiencing them here. And then I guess Atlanta, you get it a couple weeks later, right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But a really good week, a really, really good week. All right. Well, why don't we go? Hang on. This is a really important bit of information. Besides it being Chris Lewis's birthday this week, John Pruitt, you have to share stuff with us. Who did you get to meet this past week?
Oh, yes. So Jackie and I went to, really random, but we went to a comedy show right in our town in Michigan at the local theater, just down the street. And it was Steve Heitner, the actor who plays Kenny Bania in Seinfeld and like many other TV shows and movies. Mm-hmm. And he was also there with Mark Price, the actor / comedian who is best known for playing Skippy in the TV show Family Ties.
Oh, wow.
So they had a stand-up show, and then afterwards there was just a little meet and greet. So I finally got to meet the real-life Kenny Bania in person. And about 5 years ago, I bought a cameo from him. That's where you can, different celebrities are on. You can pay for like a video shout-out. So I paid for a shout-out for like my 1800th Peloton ride back then. And he sent me a really funny video. So when I said hi to him, I said, yeah, about 5 years ago, I bought a cameo from you, and I'm Kenny Bania on the Peloton leaderboard. And he goes, that was you? You owe me money. So super nice guy and pretty good comedian, pretty good at stand-up too. It was fun.
I think that is so cool. I mean, obviously you're a legend with your Kenny Bania leaderboard name. So to have met him in real life and just having, your love for Seinfeld all these years.
Worlds collided.
Did you tell him that soup is not a meal?
He was actually selling merch, T-shirts with "soup is not a meal" on it.
Oh, that is too funny. That is too funny.
And bumper stickers that say, "That's gold, Jerry, gold."
Oh, God, that is so fun. That is so fun. Oh, John, I'm so happy for you. That's so awesome. So definitely
long time coming.
A good week all round for all of us. All right. Well, folks, before we get started with the news, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of this video and hit the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode.
Yes, of course, we're on all podcast platforms. If you want to listen to us on the go, just search Pelo Buddy TV, and you'll find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
And we are on all social media platforms. So just look for us in Facebook, Instagram, X. Make sure that you like Pelo Buddy and follow us on those platforms for all of the latest news. And now let's get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right. Well, Peloton has just announced they will begin selling the Bike Plus in Costco starting next week, November 1st. So it's at a discount over standard retail pricing. So this is the company's first seasonal retail collaboration in the United States. So right now, important to note, it's just in the United States of Costco, so not in Canada yet, which hopefully that'll roll out into other territories. Seasonal partnership. So from November 1st and will run through February 15th of 2025. And just the Bike Plus will be offered at this time. So no other hardware that we know of right now. But Costco members will be able to purchase in-store or online, although the prices will be a little different. So the expected retail in-store price for the Bike Plus at Costco will be $1,999, while the online price will be a little more. It will be $2,199, which includes delivery. Now, the model being sold both in person at the store and online will require self-assembly. So you're not going to get that sort of home delivery, home installation, sort of white glove setup service that a lot of us are used to with the hardware deliveries. But I would say the bike is probably the easiest of all the hardware to really set up, because you're just popping in the seat post and the monitor. Unlike, the row and the tread, which obviously are a little more complicated, some wires and stuff. But for context, the Bike Plus typically retails for $24.95 per the Peloton website. So it was recently discounted to $2,000 on Amazon, but it is not yet known whether Peloton's Black Friday pricing will be for 2024. So we'll see as it's right around the corner. But this is the third major retailer in the U.S. that Peloton has partnered with. So previously, devices became available on Amazon back in summer of 2022, and then as well as Dick's Sporting Goods in September of 2022. So like I said, the current partnership with Costco, it's just for the U.S., but it might expand to other countries in the future. And this will be in place now with 300 plus locations of Costco in the United States. And I'm a big Costco fan, so I love this partnership.
I am too. But I mean, what do you think? You don't think it kind of
cheapens the brand?
Yeah, I didn't want to use the word cheapens, but what do you think?
I don't think so, because it's not like it's a super steep discount. It's just getting
their
visibility.
Bucks. It's $500 off, but so 20% off. But I mean, at this point, I think they're doing everything they can to increase that subscriber base.
Yeah, and just move.
They're probably taking a wash on the sale of the bike. Any profit is what they're giving that $500, and they're just hoping for that recurring revenue. So I think the goal is just to get more people paying that $44. Who knows? Next week after the new CEO, it might be $49. But getting that getting that monthly revenue.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see, a lot of times Costco has brand reps there, sort of pulling people in, like, the fancy like hot tubs that they have. So I'm curious to see if we'll have someone from Peloton there, or if they're just going to display the bike right next to the echelons.
What, you mean that they might send Cody to different showrooms and you'll see Cody sitting there? And
you'd only be so lucky. Cody would be enjoying some soft serve from the food court while he tries to pimp out a bike. But I'm curious though if they will send like maybe a showroom employee that's close by to the Costco that's closest to the showroom. Be interesting.
All right. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll wait and see how that moves.
Yeah, well, speaking of partnerships, there was another partnership with a major brand this week. Peloton has teamed up with Netflix and the Stranger Things TV show, and they are creating a new Stranger Things-themed Lanebreak level. They announced this about a week ago, and at the time of recording, it's still not there yet. This is clearly a, Halloween-themed type, promotion. It is only going to be available for a limited time, so by the time this comes out on Sunday, it might already be there since, all the Halloween classes are taking place over the weekend. They did say that this will be on both the bikes and the treads. It's going to be one 20-minute level, and there's going to be 5 songs from the Stranger Things soundtrack, and it was mixed and picked by DJ John Michael. And, they're going to have
which songs?
Not yet. That's not been announced yet. In addition to the Stranger Things music, they're also changing the UI a bit. It's going to have this red, kind of Stranger Things color palette. There's going to be some floating graphics, like if you see in the show, the Demogorgon heads, walkie-talkies, Eddie's guitar. So they're just, yeah. So they're throwing little things like that in there to give it that,
Stranger
real
Things
partnership feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
I like it.
stuff.
We actually just finished I've watched Stranger Things, but we just finished rewatching the entire series up to whatever season 4 that's currently out with Jackson and Jackie. So Jackson's, he's all into it now. It's a little scary and intense for him, but we got through it.
Yeah, there are definitely parts about it.
Especially the last 2
in
seasons.
Season 3, yeah. Season 3, season 4 weren't as good as 1 and 2.
Well, they're all going to be 25 by the time this new season comes out, so...
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since the last one.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're all all their voices will have changed.
Yeah. Well, I love this next one. So the next story tells us about Peloton now sponsoring the popular New Heights podcast, co-hosted by NFL brothers Jason and Travis Kelce. In the October 23rd episode, Peloton was featured in the intro, outro, and a mid-show discussion where the Kelce brothers talked about Peloton's tread, their strength classes, and the marathon content. The discussion also gave a shortcut to Peloton instructor Alex Toussaint, with the logo being displayed on screen during the segment. The sponsorship is part of Peloton's strategy to connect with different audiences, particularly the NFL fans, as the company continues to expand its outreach beyond traditional fitness spaces. Peloton had previously partnered with the NBA, the WNBA, and the Liverpool Football Club. So, definitely a good, good connection there. I'm really curious to see if my son says anything, because he listens to that podcast religiously. And I don't want to say anything to him. I'm waiting for him to say, "Oh my God, Mom, Peloton's being sponsored." And if that happens, then I can say that was a good idea, because I think that that kind of solidifies their decision for doing this.
And beyond going for the kind of sports angle, which clearly they're going for this, they also just seem to be going for the general podcast listening audience as well. Because in addition, they
there'll be audio
Office.
ads.
Well, no, they actually partnered with the Office Ladies podcast.
Correct.
And then also with Christina Applegate has the Messy podcast. So in the last week, there's been multiple podcasts where they've been coming out there. So it just seems like, the Kelce brothers one, clearly going after the sports fan, but they're going after different, listening audiences as well through other partnerships.
Right. Well,
but is this only on the video portion of the podcast shows where you just see a visual Peloton X, or is there some, when you're listening to it, do you hear some sort of Peloton ad?
No, so this was literally the Kelce brothers with a script. I mean, it was partially scripted, partially them talking. Like there's a mention of the Watt brothers out there and their, wattage challenge, but then they were reading from a script about Alex Toussaint, it sounded like, and other parts were definitely them reading. Marathon was a script, but it was them actually doing the promo and
they
talking
were reading
about
copy.
it. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've never listened or watched that show, but I did. It did crack me up when they were going over Jason Kelce recently at the Taylor Swift show, when one of his friends in his suite took a picture of it. Looked like he was asleep during the show. And
this was the same episode.
Travis was giving him, that was a pretty funny segment.
It is funny. Well, I think members think it's a good idea. My friend and Peloton member, Tracy C., thought it was a brilliant decision. And Tracy said to me, she goes, well, finally they've made a good decision in a long time. So I'm curious to see where it kind of goes. And, but yeah, let's see what other podcasts they end up being sponsoring on.
Nice. Well, Peloton has deleted part of a recent social media post that they made that was equating running paces with running experience, following community members expressing concerns and commenting around that post. Peloton earlier this week has gone on to share a statement and apology related to the original post. However, the original Peloton blog article that the post is based on, as far as I know, it still contains the same information as of recording today. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so the original social media post, in case anyone missed it or didn't hear about it, made on Instagram was related to tips for training and running for a marathon. So the second slide on the original post, which has since been deleted, appeared to equate certain running paces and marathon finishing times with experience level. And that's where a lot of members and people commented with their disappointment and concern. So like the post said, at the first marathon in Athens, Greece, the winner clocked in at an impressive 2:58.50. Fast forward to today. And then it went on to list specific times for different experience levels, such as for a beginner, around 4.5 hours, which is like a 10-minute, 30-second mile. And soon after the post was made, though, community members started commenting, expressing their disappointment, how Peloton appeared to be equating specific times and paces to experience levels. So one person said, love Peloton, but don't equate running experience level with speed at all. Never will. Kind of disappointing to see this, and a lot of comments along those lines. So they then soon backpedaled and took out that one slide and then issued an apology about, those times. I think they were based off of times from, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, from a couple of years ago from Marathon.
It was a quote unquote survey that looked at, they linked to a specific report, and it was someone who had aggregated data from multiple marathons. But the caveat is that survey specifically said that it did not look at elite runners. And then one of the times Peloton listed was for elite runners. So even though they linked to that survey, I'm not sure that's the one they were pulling their data from, but clearly they were either just Googling and including it or just, putting times out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, there were a handful of people who said, I don't know what the issue is, but then, Peloton likes to say forward as a pace, go at your own pace. So this messaging kind of just went against what people are hearing in classes. So I get why people were upset with that messaging. I think the article that you mentioned it was based on, that came out in July, and Peloton does this a lot. Like articles come out, they wait a couple months, they throw up a social media post to drive traffic back to the blog. So realistically, I think all they were doing was, we have this old blog, let's throw up a slide and drive traffic back to it. And I don't think there was the expectation that this was going to happen from that.
Yeah, there was something problematic about it. Yeah, because it had been up there.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, staying on running, we have a couple special classes coming up in advance of the New York City Marathon. This past week, Peloton announced 2 different things that will be taking place. Well, they previously announced a bunch of in-person activities that will be taking place, but in addition, there's a couple special Peloton classes taking place. And the first is actually going to be a run with Becs Gentry and marathon legend Meb Keflezighi. They are both going to be at Peloton Studios doing a special class, which is going to take place on Friday, November 1st at 3 p.m. And this is a marathon race prep class. And it says they'll be talking about reflecting on life lessons learned on marathon courses. The one thing we don't know yet is whether this is going to be a 2-for-1 style class where he's up there on a second treadmill on the platform, or if it's more like what they did with Lindsey Sterling, where she was on one of the treads in the audience, but they just have a special camera and lights and you can kind of talk back and forth. So we're kind of going to have to wait and see what happens there. The second thing they're doing is on Saturday, November 2nd at noon, there's going to be a 30-minute 26.2 celebration run, but this is actually going to be the first ever live outdoor audio run on the platform, led by Robin Arzon. And this one just says to celebrate all things 26.2 in this live outdoor run with Robin. There's nothing more electrifying than the energy felt when running together as a community. Now, the one caveat with this is we don't know what the format for this is going to be as well. All their outdoor audio classes are typically, there's a closet at Peloton. I'm joking. It's not a closet, but there's a back studio that they use for it. There's a treadmill back there and they record them there.
It's like storage room.
Yeah. So we don't know if she's going to be just broadcasting from that storage room live, or if she might be, marathon's taking place that weekend. Will she be somewhere on the marathon course recording from there? They weren't explicit about that yet. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. As part of preparing for that, though, this past week, there was a random, what was it called? It was a Christian Vandeveld class, it looked like, that showed up on the schedule, but it was just a test outdoor audio run. And people saw the picture of Christian and they're thinking, oh, is he coming back? Oh, is he going to be doing teaching a run? But unfortunately, their test instructor profile image just uses an image of Christian. So I think they were just doing, preparing for this first live outdoor run, doing a test trial of it, and their test instructor they loaded it with had a picture of Christian. So that's kind of, where that came from.
Well, there's lots going on with Marathon Week, and with it approaching, Peloton have actually dropped a new challenge to coincide with the marathon. Kind of a cool concept, which people are going to way exceed, on like day one of this, but they're giving members the opportunity to get their miles in with a new challenge. So walk 6 miles to earn a bronze badge, 13 for silver, and gold is 26.2. So for all of you badge crazy folks out there, this is an opportunity for you guys to get a new badge. You have from October the 26th till November the 3rd to complete the challenge. The challenge will track your distance for both the tread and any workouts done on your mobile devices. So the challenge seems pretty popular, with over 60,000 participants already signed up by the time of recording. So curious to kind of see where that goes, but just another fun way for folks to sign up for something if they choose to.
I know I gotta be sure to opt in. Some of those they fall through the cracks because I forget to opt in.
I do forget month to month to sometimes do that as well. Yeah, I do. So
I guess it's currently on the upcoming Achieve Your 26.2.
By the time the episode comes out, it'll be in the app.
It'll be there. It'll be there. Yeah.
Well, I just joined it as we speak, so
you're right.
I'm in. Well, Peloton has released week 6 of their Discover Yoga collection, and this is a Backbends program that's led by former Peloton instructor Ross Rayburn. Obviously, this was recorded before he departed the company back in June, I believe. But the program is described as follows. In week 6 with Ross, we'll work on backbends to open up the shoulders, chest, and heart. And one important thing to note, as we previously mentioned, these weekly programs, when we discuss them, they're actually found in the collections area of the Peloton app. So this means there's no badges, and you don't have to officially opt in to the program to do them.
Nice.
Well, continuing on, there was another special class announced this past week, but we don't have all the details on this one yet. Peloton has announced a Global Power Zone Celebration class, which will be taking place on November 16th. This past Thursday, Peloton just posted an Instagram slide announcing the class and opening it up for studio bookings. They gave about an hour and a half notice, but the interesting thing is there's simultaneous classes happening both in the US and the UK at the same exact time. So in the US, Matt Wilpers is going to be leading the 2-hour Power Zone Endurance ride, and in the UK, Hannah Frankson is going to be leading that ride. So Peloton did tease more to come. And again, just like we were saying with the live outdoor run, with this, we're not sure what the format's going to be yet. We're not sure, it sounds like they're going to mix both instructors together somehow. We're not sure whether it's going to be split screen at the same time or cut from one to the other. So in the coming weeks, we'll get more details about that and share more information. But a new format of 2-hour Power Zone Endurance is on the way.
It'll be kind of fun. Maybe they'll have big screens in the studio so that you can kind of see Hannah at the same time, and they'll see Matt in UK. And you're going to be in that class, Chris?
I did. I was lucky enough to see it and was able to grab a spot. I was already going to be in New York that weekend. So it just worked out that I'm going to be able to go. And, it's a little earlier than I normally work out. But for something like that, I'll be able to drag myself out of bed. It's currently scheduled from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. But I believe that's wrong. Because there's a Camila Ramon class at 10 a.m. and clearly you can't have an 8 to 10 and then a 10. So I think that's going to bump forward to 7 to 9.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Well, I think it'll be a fun experience, and you being there firsthand would be fun. So I'm happy you got into that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, for our German members who listen to the show, you can be excited to find that there are 2 new strength split programs that have dropped. Irene has a 3-day split program, whilst Cliff Dwenger has a 5-day one. You can find full details on the programs on Pelo Buddy, along with any of the other programs. So just head over to pelobuddy.com to be able to pull that information, or obviously you'll get that information, on your equipment, whichever way you do your strength training. But that's kind of nice to see Irene back, on the strength, and the split program should be good.
Cool. Yeah, well, sticking with things that took place over the past week in classes, the weekly This Week in Peloton post came out, and they highlighted 4 different things that took place this week. First up was a morning flow and meditation stack with Chelsea Jackson Roberts, and that took place this past Thursday at 7:30 a.m. and then 8:10 a.m. They also released a new set of Set the Pace podcast episodes, which is the New York Runners podcast, which Becs Gentry is a co-host of, and they feature interviews during this podcast. So they were due to release 5 different episodes this past Friday. In addition, they celebrated Austria National Holiday this past Saturday, and there were 2 classes that came out. One was a hike with Marcel, and one was a ride with Mila. And then finally, they highlighted the 2-for-1 Halloween class, which, depending on when you're listening to this, is either about to take place or it's Sunday, the 27th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. But they highlighted that 2-for-1, Rebecca Kennedy, Andy Spear. And I know there's a lot of people waiting to see what costumes they may end up with together in that class.
Yeah, I heard they're going to do Lyle and Eric Menendez. No. They would touch that. No, they're going to do Kitty and Jose Menendez.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny.
Too soon.
Too soon. Yeah.
Well, we got a new artist series. It is from 90s British singer-songwriter Gabrielle. So there were 2 classes that happened live on this past Friday, the 25th. Peloton had posted about it. They said, "Sweat it out to the sounds of Gabrielle UK as we celebrate UK Black History Month in soulful style." So we got John Hosking had a 30-minute live walk this past Friday, and Hannah Frankson had a 30-minute Gabrielle ride. And they also mentioned a Jocelyn Thompson Rule was teaching a Gabrielle class, which I assume was on the tread, but as of recording, I don't see it on the live schedule. So I'm imagining it might be a premiere or an on-demand drop. I guess, Chris, you concur.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But Gabrielle, I was looking up, she was born in London, and I guess she's probably most famous for the song called Dreams that released in 1993. You know, because dreams can come true. Look at me. Yeah, that was like all over the radio.
You don't come to the podcast to hear John and I singing, that's for sure. But yeah, you come to the podcast to get the news. But we add in a little bit just so that you can laugh.
Yeah, in case you don't know Gabrielle, that's her hit. I don't know about the other two. I'm sure she has a whole catalog, but
yeah,
that's the song everyone's going to be waiting for.
Exactly. Yeah, I was actually surprised John got it and not Jermaine. I would have thought Jermaine would have gotten it on the tread, but we'll have all the details. Since we record early, we're not sure, but I'm sure it'll be a fun class. All right. Well, Peloton recently addressed a bug affecting some Peloton Guide users. Those 5 people that use the guide, where they encountered a critical error with the camera. There was a message that came up, rendering the device unusable for some classes. Initially, customer support responses varied, with suggestions ranging from factory resets to replacing the device. However, Peloton has now identified the root cause, and they released a software update to fix the issue. So users experiencing the bug were advised to update their devices to the latest software to solve the problem. And from what we have gathered, that did in fact correct it. So, so for you 5 that use it, that was the reason.
Amanda.
Huh?
Your guide.
Thank goodness I never used it. It looks good in my gym, okay? It looks good. All right.
Yes, it looks good above my TV, like it's some monitoring device.
Right. Aye.
All right. Well, this is
Costco are giving free guides with those Peloton bikes that you purchase.
Stocking stuffer guides.
Right. Exactly.
Well, this is a little quickie story. So the lifetime distance feature has now been added to the Peloton Row. So it's the same as what we talked about last week for the bike and the tread, except it lists it in meters, which is the rowing distance that they use instead of miles with the bike.
It takes a couple weeks to figure out that calculation, so it makes sense that it took a few more weeks to roll out on the road than it did. Yeah.
All those strokes.
Now, boys.
Well,
I haven't noticed it on the 19 times that I've used my row. I haven't quite noticed the difference in that yet.
Well, changing topics completely, we have the next earnings call coming up, and this is probably going to be a pretty eventful one, mainly in that we're expecting the new CEO to be announced by then. I'm just speculating. Well, first, the actual details. The earnings call will be this Thursday, October 31st, and it will the call will take place at 8:30 a.m. with the report being issued before that. We have information on how to call in and listen if you want on our website. But like I was saying, the new CEO is expected to be announced by then. We're probably likely going to get a press release at 7 a.m. that morning that says, hey, here's our new CEO. And they're going to probably open the call by, hey, here's our new CEO. Let's ask him some questions and do an introduction and all that. They've not said anything recently. That was just a comment they made at the last earnings call of, we expect to have our new CEO by then, but they've really not said anything to the contrary since then. So that's still expected to take place this week.
Yeah, so I missed it. CNBC had some stuff on Thursday morning, and Mark was on his way to a meeting and called me and said, you got to watch Peloton's on CNBC. I did miss it, though, but some of the tidbits. I said, do you want to come on the show and tell everybody what you heard? He was like, no, it's fine. But he did say, though, so just be prepared, and you can say you heard it here first, that apparently they are looking at increasing the membership, as you mentioned earlier in the show.
They've specifically said that in the last earnings call. That's one of the levers that they have to clearly increase their revenue. But that was the sort of decision that they're waiting for the new CEO to make.
Right.
So we'll have to wait and see what comes from that.
So he can catch all the flack for it.
I mean, what a way. I mean, exactly. What a way to come in, and that that's going to be your first thing. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be moans and groans and people are going to be upset. I mean, I just saw a post recently about people saying, you mean you pay for classes? Like, what rock have you been living under? You know, when you go to the studio, people were shocked that you had to pay since you pay a membership fee. Why do you pay for classes? I'm like, okay, clearly you guys live under a rock, but you didn't know the classes had a fee to them if you went into the studio. But anyway, yeah, that'll be interesting next week. And isn't it kind of interesting that it's on Halloween? So it's kind of spooky and scary in itself as to what'll come out of there.
Well, Chris, you're always so good at, speculating potential new instructors and revealing them before they're announced. Do we have a short list of potential CEO candidates?
No. And
no one? Nothing?
There were some random... So on Wednesday, the stock randomly went up 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
And I saw some rumors that people are like, oh, it's because they named, they're thinking of so-and-so being the new CEO. Turns out that there was a venture capitalist who spoke at a conference and said that Peloton was undervalued. And that caused the reason for the stock not, that the new CEO is leaked. But I've not really heard any solid...
Any rumblings.
And we all sold our stock and can go and retire, on an island somewhere from all the money we just made from the 20% increase.
Yeah.
Well, okay. On a positive note, we won't give so much flack. On a positive note, Peloton has announced the continuation of its Wellbeing for Life community program. So this is an extension of the Peloton Pledge. The goal is to reach 500,000 individuals by 2025, providing equitable access to physical and mental health resources. So this is a really positive, aspect of what Peloton does on the platform. Since 2021, Peloton has impacted more than 400,000 individuals through these partnerships. They've curated content and global community engagements. The initiative supports 16 partner organizations, just some of them, Girl Trek, the Steve Fund, and Sporting Equals, amongst others. But they remain committed to supporting communities facing systemic inequities, promoting fitness and well-being. And that's a really positive side of what the company does. So, if we can get out there and continue to promote good mental health, and the fact that, and I've said this 1,000 times, what I love about this platform is that there are so many people on it that probably would never have worked out a day in their life, but they found this community. Yeah. And I'm one of those people. At at 55, I feel so healthy and fit. And I don't know if I would have ever continued for this now going on 7 years that I've been doing Peloton, if it hadn't been for the community. So there is so much value, and people can bash it and people can say what they want, but look, there's no question that there's just so much positive that they do offer. They could get the business side right, but they're getting there.
Slowly but surely. Well, happy birthday. We got some birthdays. So Matt Wilpers, it was his birthday. He shares his birthday with Mr. Chris Lewis. That was this past Thursday. And Emma Lovewell also had a birthday this past Friday. So happy birthday to Chris, Emma, and Matt.
Do we know when Emma's coming back? Do we have a date?
December,
no?
I heard.
Oh, you heard December?
Had said,
okay.
At some point, she had said sometime in December, which actually people thought she would come back at the beginning of the year.
Got it.
But I just saw something that was asking, and I guess
nice.
she's commented and said sometime in December.
She's enjoying mommyhood. Good for her. All right. Well, we will go right into Instructor in the News. And yeah, Chris, you take all the flack for this next one. It's all yours, baby.
Well, our first story is a little bit of a throwback. Kendall Toole was recently on the Pursuit of Wellness podcast. And the reason we're bringing this up is because she talked a little bit about her departure from Peloton. I'll just read the quote, and it said and the context was she was asked about, her departure. She talked about how she was grateful for her time at Peloton, but felt it was time to evolve and grow in her career. She asked a little bit about, the discussions that led to that. And she said, there were conversations that were had. I talked to them about maybe doing less time and trying to find, I'm like, I'll take a pay cut. I'll do this. But, that wasn't exactly in line with what they wanted me to do. So Kendall's side of the story was that she did want to stay, but some things needed to change. She offered to, take a pay cut, do less classes. but Peloton wasn't interested in this. This followed her talking, that she mentioned New York City was not her city.
Yeah.
She didn't want to live there on a, permanent basis. This seems more relevant right now because of the news that just came out with Callie the other week. Now, clearly this all happened over the summer when negotiations were happening and contract renewals, but Callie just shared it. But when Callie said the other week that she's moving to Florida and she's going to be commuting back and forth from New York once a month for a week or so to teach classes. Now, clearly, situations could be different. We don't know the full side of the story. We don't know all the facts, but, Kendall was just in the news talking about that, so we figured we would share that with some of her context around her leaving.
Could have just posted the clip of the video, Chris.
It's in I did, actually.
Some feedback. No, you gotta link to it. You gotta click on it. Can we just get that in the post, in the Instagram?
We're getting there. All right. We'll get there.
I'm just busting chops.
All right. Well, it does look like we may have something fun coming from Katie Wong and Marcel Dinkins, together with the NBA partnership that Peloton has. Peloton posted a picture on their Instagram of the ladies together with NBA basketball player Chris Brickley with the hashtag KeerTipoff24. So definitely something to look out for. We're not 100% sure of what they're going to be doing. Maybe a matchup, shooting some hoops. Who knows? But that should be something fun to look out for.
Nice. Well, Rad Lopez and Camila Ramon are partnering with WhatsApp in a reel that was posted this week from WhatsApp in partnership with Rad and Camila, titled Cafecito Chats. They discussed their dating icks, which the main one for both of them was the green text in messages, which obviously, if you're not an iPhone user, you get a green text from somebody, it's most likely an Android device and just feels, off. So it's kind of funny them going back. Yeah. And Rad was cute because he made an exception for his family. And I think and he said also for my boo, if they're not, an iOS user. But they promoted WhatsApp. They said how they love WhatsApp for communicating in large groups and sharing pics. And Rad said one of his biggest trigger is in texting. When the pics come through initially, if someone sends him a pic, it's very small initially when you look at it, and then you have to open it and enlarge it.
Yeah. It's funny because, WhatsApp is so international. I mean, everybody uses WhatsApp internationally, the UK, South Africa, all Australia. It's just never taken off here. Slowly but surely, I think in the States, more and more people are getting to use WhatsApp. But it definitely is
use
huge.
it. We use it. Yeah,
we use it to communicate. And it makes sense. But yeah. All right. Well, in the She Pivots podcast episode, Ali Love shares her inspiring journey from surviving a near-death car accident at age 9. So for those of you that aren't aware, Ali had been in a horrible car accident when she was a little girl, and to becoming a fitness superstar today. She shares that the accident taught her resilience and shaping her positive outlook on life. She also discusses her early dance career at the Elvin Ailey Dance Academy, her rise to Peloton fame, and her efforts to empower women through her Love Squad community. She also reveals her mindset shift in overcoming the comparison game and embracing gratitude, which has helped her grow personally and professionally. Ali recently partnered with Contigo. So if you guys don't know, she is their Chief Hydration Officer, promoting wellness through proper hydration. And she has her beautifully designed Contigo flasks, water bottles that you guys can purchase. So yeah.
All right. Well, Jess King was recently on the That Twin Mama podcast, and she was talking about fragrances and how that had affected her during pregnancy and postpartum, and just all of the issues and scenarios surrounding that. So you can check Jess King on the That Twin Mama podcast.
Well, Ben Aldis is going to be doing some more content in partnership with the Liverpool football team in England. He recently posted on Instagram behind the scenes with the Liverpool Football Club, had an incredible day shooting with the legends, Cody Gakpo, Andy Robertson, and Diogo Jota as part of our One Peloton partnership, and their training facility looked like they had some Peloton treads and bikes in there that they were working out on. So he said, stay tuned for more, stay tuned for the content we captured coming your way. So keep an eye out on that and share it with you as soon as it gets posted.
Nice.
Yeah, well, Ben definitely had a busy week because he also shared that him and some of the other members of the Peloton UK team hosted a media day at Peloton Studios London. It was Leanne, John, Hannah, Ben, Jocelyn, and Jermaine were all there. There was a private class for the media members. In addition to that, there was a brand update from the UK GM of Peloton. John Hoskins led a panel with Jocelyn, Ben, and a Peloton member, kind of discussing the importance of fitness during the holiday season. And there were media members from ITV, BBC, Cosmo, GQ, Pop Sugar, and more. And in addition to all of that, Peloton also gave them a preview for some of their holiday campaigns, as well as some of the latest content and features that are coming out or have come out. So Peloton spent a little bit of time, working on getting some good press mentions through the upcoming season.
Yeah, it was kind of cute, their video that they put together, them dancing. And I just laugh at Ben because he's so awkward as a dancer. He just was really awkward, but so cute, so sweet. And huge shout out to Angela Scott. So she is the Peloton member that they had on the panel, who is just a big UK PSL member. She's there often, runs tons of marathons. So wanted to give Angela a nice little shout out there, being, she said she was humbled and honored to have been part of all of that. All right, and rounding out our instructor in the news, Becs. Becs is busy, but she caught up with or was cornered by Kate Max. She's the latest Peloton instructor to be interviewed as she runs, as Becs is doing a lot of these days, as she prepares for her 777. But she was interviewed by Kate Max. It's a quick, fun interview. If you want to take a listen, you can head over to Instagram. She has it on her wall, as well as Kate. Kate has it on hers. So just a fun interview talking about running, how she got into running. So that is Instructor in the News. So why don't we go right into class picks of the week, and I will kick it off because I see one in there that I'm claiming as mine. All right. Well, we'll kick it off on the bike with Ali Love. Her 20-minute country pop ride on the 17th of October came to us from Molly Nair and AIM JG. They said, fun playlist from Ali. And then Mariana Fernandez says, 30-minute Enrique Iglesias run. It was on the 17th. I am going to grab that one as my pick of the week. It was also sent to us by Tunda Holmes and Mandolin. Such a great synergy. You can tell Mariana is a longtime fan, but she didn't take it easy on the class just because it was an artist series class. And I loved running it with you, Chris. It was really fun. I'm actually liking, these 7 p.m. classes. I didn't think that
They're great.
And I didn't think I was even going to be home in time. I literally walked in at 6:45. I had run in the morning. I had done classes in the morning, and I didn't think I was going to. And I was like, you know what? Mark wasn't home. Why not? I was so happy to see you on there. The music was fantastic. I'm a huge Enrique Iglesias fan. Yeah.
And speaking of the time slot, this is now 2 or 3 weeks in a row I've been able to do that Thursday, 7 p.m. time. I'm not a morning workout person at all, so I'll take the 7 p.m. workout over a 7 a.m. workout any day. But I know I'm in the minority on that one. So
you are in the minority, but I think it is bringing more and more people to the platform in the evenings. I always try and catch her yogas. She does Spanish yogas on Tuesday nights, and I try and do them. Usually they're kind of like a evening flow or a slower flow, and they're really cool. So
7 p.m. in the evening isn't too bad. It's the 8:30 p.m. ones that I don't have very little motivation to do.
Yeah, those are tough. Those are definitely tough. All right. And then Ash Pryor, she had the Enrique Iglesias Row Artist Series class. This one was also on the 17th. This one came to us from Tabata Be Hitting Me, and they said she really brought the energy to this class. So fun and challenging.
All right, next up, Hannah Corbin's 10-minute bar core from the 18th. Amy M.S. Chalk said 3 moves on repeat that really created a burn. And then Katie Wong's 30-minute glutes and leg strength from the 18th as well. Kathy M19, Genelica 1, and Tabata Be Hitting Me said great strength class. Loving Katie as an addition to the strength team. Good class, short on breaks, and good workout. And then Jocelyn Thompson Rules, 20-minute full body strength from the 18th. Durrani 1971 said first class of her Discover Strength program. Really like this so far.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, well, Eric Yeager did the 20-minute Enrique Iglesias ride. That was in German, and that came to us on the 18th of October. Amajar 3 shared this one with us, and she said this was a blast. He had great energy. And then Camilla Rahman had a 45-minute hit and hills ride, also on the 18th. This one came to us from Meg Bipur, like, that's kind of a cool leaderboard name. Super motivating playlist. And then Mila Wiedekan, she had a 30-minute house ride, and this one was in English. It was on the 19th of October. It came to us from Timmy5 RZ, and they said another great to get another English class from Mila.
Next up, Bradley Rose's 30-minute 2010s pop ride from October 19th. Daisy Mack really loves Bradley Rose because I always see him
huge fan
resharing her stories.
She's a rebel. She's a rebel.
And she's a favorite of his. She said the class starts in a climb, which I love. Playlist perfect. Stay for the stretch for an awesome message. And then going over to the mat, Aditi Shaw's 30-minute flow and let go yoga from the 19th. Amajar 3 said this put me in a total state of relaxation after. Glad to see this series is back.
Yeah, and Aditi's really pleased about this series. She's really excited to have this slot, and it kind of pairs with the meditation that she offers. There's a 10-minute meditation that she does after or before. So it's a really nice stack that they have together. So definitely do the two together. I did do them last week.
They really complement each other.
They complement each other really nicely. All right, moving over to straight. Oh, yep, it is.
Yeah, I had one more.
Go for it.
I'm speaking.
Go for it.
Tune Days, 20-minute arms and shoulder strength from the 19th. Shay Nation said a total burner, and the playlist was a perfect mix of my high school phase and new tracks. And her 5-minute core following was a great dessert to this upper body feast.
Nice. Remember Dennis Morton? Yeah, he had a 30-minute 80s ride. We haven't heard about Dennis
do we not mention him much?
He stays low. So thank you to Just Shields for giving us this one. His 30-minute 80s ride from the 19th. They said some really great 80s tunes in this one. And then Ben Aldous had a 20-minute glutes and leg strength. This was from the 20th. It came to us from Noel Goal 91, and they said solid, tough class from Ben. And then Andy Spears, 60-minute total strength from the 20th, came to us from Tabata Be Hitting Me. They said tough class, but fun with some laughs and a great playlist.
All right, going over to the bike, Leanne's 30-minute 2000s rock ride from the 21st. Daisy Winstone and AZ Onion said fun rock playlist with Leanne. Rebecca Kennedy's 20-minute Pilates from October 21st. Mama Bear 109 said, it's been great having Rebecca start to teach these. And then Selena's 20-minute intervals run from the 21st. Bertha C. Runs MD said her first run back after a long hiatus. Short but motivating. Nobody makes me run faster on the tread.
Wow, that's a really nice compliment. All right, Kira Michelle had a 20-minute Afro alternative yoga flow. This one was on the 22nd, came to us from Amaja 3, and she said fun and funky yoga and music pairing. Then Matt Wilpers' 45-minute Power Zone ride from the 22nd. All Biz Liz gave us this one, and they said tough class, but super satisfying to hit all the zone 4 he called out. And then our friend Jeffrey McKeechan, his 30-minute like nobody's watching. It is a German class. It was on the 22nd. It came to us from Carl 808. They said, love the second class in his new series. I actually think it was the third. I don't think it was the second. I think it was the third, and I missed it. And I was really bummed because they actually are really fun classes. I need to do that one on demand.
All right, next up, Becs Gentry's 20-minute hit run from October 22nd at noon. I did this one live, actually. Patrick 707 said, quick, tough workout from Becs. And then Maddie Majakmos, 30-minute walking boot camp from the 23rd. This was the second in his series. It dropped on demand. It was perfect because I did it on the Wednesday because it dropped at midnight that evening. So it was a perfect class to do while there were no live classes on the schedule on Wednesday. But Catherine T submitted this one, and she said, really love these new walking boot camp classes. Hope we get more of them. There was good burn on the floor segments.
Nice. I got to catch that one too. I didn't. Yeah. I missed it. I want to catch that one. Yeah.
And then rounding out the picks this week, Jess King's 30-minute sweat steady low impact ride from the 23rd. Mama Bear 109 said her sweat steady classes are always great. And I'm surprised nobody submitted Allie Love's boss ride from this past Sunday that never made it on demand mysteriously. Because apparently it was a pretty explicit playlist from what I heard from the rumblings.
Maybe that's why I didn't make it onto the
that's what some were saying. Yeah, some were saying she was singing along to some of the spicy lyrics, and that was interesting. It was a little out of character, so maybe that's why, or maybe they're censoring some things, and that's why it's delayed.
Interesting. Well, well, I am really excited. I guess that wraps up the class picks of the week. I'm excited because I am heading uptown. We'll be up in New York the weekend, and as you folks know, obviously we do tape the show a couple of days early, but I will be there for Maddie's Halloween class. So I am very excited. And
you're confirmed? You're not waitlisted?
I am confirmed. It was actually the only class I got into for the weekend, and then I managed to get in. I'll tell you, I managed to get into 2 classes on Sunday. I'm actually in Jen's class on her on Sunday. Her cover to cover. So I'm in her class and then just got off the wait list for Mariana's flow afterwards. They're like back to back. But yeah, so now I can share for Maddie's class. We are dressing up, and we are dressing up all of Maddie's favorite things.
So this is a coordinated effort.
It is a coordinated effort. Evan is in the class. We're really excited. Evan is coming as Evan. And do you want to know what I'm going as?
What are you going to ask?
I'm going as what? Cruella de Vil. That's not his favorite thing. That's not nice. I'm going as a much nicer
someone from Wicked.
Thing.
From Wicked.
You're going as Ophelba. Even better than Wicked. There are some people going as Wicked. I'm going as Nana, his dog.
Oh,
I have a cute Nana dog outfit that I'm wearing
with like the ears and the hood.
With
and
my
everything?
ears and the hood.
You're gonna be
and
so hot and sweaty.
Hot and sweaty in there, and I'm going to throw that costume away afterwards. But I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what he's going to come as this year. I think that's going to be so much fun. So yeah,
it's going back a ways, but I don't know if either of you remember, but back at 23rd Street, Emma Lovewell taught a Halloween ride, and she was as Princess Leia,
Star Wars,
and she had the buns, and there was someone on bike 6 on the camera wearing a stormtrooper helmet the entire ride, like full, must have been dying in there. And you can see it in the preview picture for the class.
Dedication to the costume.
Yes,
yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. No, I think this is going to be fun. So I'm really, really excited to be there for that class. It'll be interesting. I'm actually heading up to a bat mitzvah in Westchester in the afternoon. And it's like, I was not missing this for anything.
Bar mitzvah? God, I thought you'd be all done attending those events. Yeah, I know.
I do have some young friends. I still keep myself young somehow.
Okay.
But yeah, I was not missing this for anything. I'm dressing at the studio. Mark's going to come pick me up from the studio, and we'll head up to Westchester. But this is going to be a fun class. So I'm
looking forward to Cody's. He's got a 45-minute Halloween ride on Saturday, which is
nice.
Because normally all the Halloween themed. They're always like 30 minutes. They're not, you don't usually get a 45-minute one.
There'll be some nice classes.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, I guess that wraps it up for us. It's always nice to have you on here, Chris. So I'm glad that worked out. I know that
thanks
our
for letting me
listeners,
sit in.
I
Thanks
know
for
that our
carrying
listeners,
some of the load, Chris.
Exactly. And I know that our listeners enjoy having you on here. So it's always good to have you. All right, folks. Well, we will wrap it up so we can hopefully keep it under an hour. Just about. Hopefully you guys got everything you needed from this week's show, as we say each week. And we appreciate you tuning in and listening. And if you enjoy what you hear and you want to go and be a full-time member of Pelo Buddy, you can head over to the website and sign up and be part of the backside of us.
You get a Pelo Buddy membership badge.
That's it, right? You can get a badge.
A button.
Chris will give that to you.
A tote bag.
Those will come out free. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. From me here in beautiful Maryland this weekend. Bye for now, everybody.
And from me here in Atlanta, thanks for listening, and we'll see everyone next week for episode 200.
Yeah.
Bam. And from me here in even more beautiful Michigan, thank you for tuning in, watching, and listening. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.